My name is Liza Maru. Um, I call myself an actuarial professional. I have 6 years experience in actuarial from resolution and AR, but predominantly health and general insurance. Um, when you started your actuarial journey, when you actually joined this school, why did you do actuarial? Was it for money? The people who are told there was so much money, raise your hand. None was told there was money. Then why did you do actuarial?
Hello, hello.
I love math. People who loved math, raise your hands. The rest. Why do you pursue actuarial? Peer pressure. The people who don't know why they did actuarial, raise your hand. Ama wale walifosiwa nyumbani. That is a course for mathematicians. Raise your hand. Okay, so the rest of you are clueless. Okay.
I did it for money. So how much are you guys paid?
Sorry?
I did it for money.
Money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, welcome. Everyone did it for money. I joined Strathmore in 2011, so that's around 10 years ago. And I'm still looking for that money, but it's growing. That's the best thing about it. The reason why I asked that question is because I believe many people join actuarial for either misguided decisions or they just have no clue what they're doing. Then they get to school and they realize, oh my God, what are we being taught? Why did I join this course? Why didn't I do medicine or engineering and all those things? But I'm here to encourage you about my journey. 6 years, but I think I have made so much progress compared to many of my peers based on the advice I got. So another question I have, who has started the professional exams, including you? How many? Perfect. Who else? A fourth year? Chairperson?
Bado, we'll do them. We'll do
Bado.
them.
Yes. Did you know you can actually be an actuary without having done a degree? Did you know that? Yes. So, and the reason why you can be an actuary is by pursuing the exams. And I'm here to actually encourage you to do that. Like that is the most sure way of being successful in this career. Okay, I don't know if is it working. Can you see anything? No? All right. Any other professional body, CPA, CIFA, there's so many other, CFA. Do you guys know about it? No? You do? Okay, that's a good start. So for me, my presentation today, I just want to tell you that if you want a financial career, as he has said, the most important part is the professional papers compared to the degree. And that's why you have to be very keen on starting on that at the beginning of your journey when you're doing your bachelor. Don't wait until you finish 4th year, then that's when you start scrambling for papers. So my presentation was Actuary of the Future. I don't know. Oh, I'm being told you can actually follow the presentation from the stream. So I'll just use my computer. So just to explain to you my journey, I currently lead the Actuarial and Product Development department at Resolution Insurance. I've been doing that for the past 1 year. Before that, I was predominantly in product development, and then before that, I was doing pricing. So I've technically done all the actuarial roles there is in an insurance company. Okay, so the agenda for my presentation is, number one, how do you become an actuary? The second one is the actuarial career options, not necessarily the traditional ones, but also the ones which are beyond what we were traditionally made to do. And then how do we position ourselves in the job market once we complete, or even just at the beginning? So the first step is, what is an actuary? Everyone knows we use financial models to calculate risks and be able to better advise a company financially. That is our job. And we're not, what you need to understand is that we don't need to work in an insurance company. You don't need to work in a financial services company. Your skills, the skills you get here, can be applied in any business. Any business. Steps to be an actuary. So personally, I did the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries path. So you start with the core principles, the core technical courses where you do your probabilities, your financial maths, your financial economics and all that. After that, you graduate into more managerial courses, which is the actuarial practice, actuarial risk management, communication. As you said, it's very important to learn how to communicate to your audience. Then the other thing is learning how to do financial modeling and data analysis. After that, you graduate to specialist courses. So under specialist courses, you can actually work in a life insurance company who fairly just do products for life, that is on death, in case of a death of a policy holder. General insurance is for general aspects such as motor, fire, engineering. Then there's health, which is technically insurance for our medical costs. And finally, there's investments. Investment is for the financial markets, as the Kasneb Mr. had talked about. So there's actually a specialization course in actuarial specifically for that. It's a set of 13 papers, and what I normally advise is before you leave your campus, at least attempt one or two, so that when you're going to look for a job, someone knows already what if you're talking to maybe an actuarial manager, and they ask you, have you done at least financial math 1? Then I know that we are having a similar conversation. Because the challenge we have is sometimes you have someone who has no clue what actuaries do, and the professional papers are really important to be able to plan your career path. But it's also not necessary for you to do the actuarial papers only. There are other various papers you can do and specialize in various areas of the financial industry. So the route to qualification can be two. So I can choose, I start my papers, I go register with FOA. You actually don't need much. You just need to go register as a student member. I think the first paper is £180. Yeah. You do your first, attempt it. You see whether you pass it, then you're onboarded as a student member. Pursue your 13 papers. So the good thing is that the moment you start doing your papers, once you get your third one and you get employed, your employer comes in and starts taking care of your exam costs. So it ends up being cheaper for you if you just invested in that, in the first, let's say the first 5. So you can choose to do the papers only and then qualify once you get your 3 years experience. Or IRA offers a really good program. But for you to get into that program, you need 5 papers. When you finish the 5 papers, you can actually get a scholarship. You go to the UK, CAS Business School. There are normally 3 specific schools. That is CAS, University of Kent, and Heriot-Watt, and they give you exemptions. once you reach certain subjects. So those are two routes of qualification, but they're really good in terms of promising your career or qualification path. Now, in terms of the areas of specialization, I have mentioned that before. But what you need to know is that you don't need to know your specialization before you finish campus, or you don't need to know your specialization even when you're doing the exams. Those are things which you plan ahead. So you just choose what you're passionate about. Personally, I love health because I find health very dynamic. Plus, it's real to me why I'm doing health insurance. So depending on what you see in school when you're doing pensions, if you hate it, if you're doing life insurance, if you like it, then you can choose to specialize in that. So that's actuarial. There are other places where we can work, and that's where the guy from CASNEP was talking about. We don't need to limit ourselves to actuarial science and being actuaries and qualified FIAs. In my class, when we finished campus, I think only 10 of us stuck and pursued actuarial, of which the 10, I think only 3 are actually working in the insurance industry. But all the other people who were there got really good jobs, either in banks, in investment banks, management consultancies, the PwCs, and the likes, Deloitte. There's development finance, which is a really, really, really big space coming up, and I would advise many people to get into that. And there's also entrepreneurship. So just to give you a brief of what you do and what you need for each of those arms, and the management consultancy, which has now the big 4, and maybe you find someone doing their own consultancies with the insurance company, I would advise that you either do an FIA, which is the actuarial exams, do a CPA or the CIFA exams and the FRM, financial risk management. So those are papers which would be really good for that. For the insurance companies, of course, there's FIAs and there's data science, which is huge in that space at the moment. So you can take a professional course in relation to that area. For banks, there's CFAs, the Chartered Financial Analyst. I think it's the global aspect of CIFA, which is now the local Chartered, I think, investment and financial analyst, and the CPAs, of course. For investment banks, similar. So banks and investment banks, but what is really key for them are the CFAs and the CIFAs. For development finance, I think this is where I'm saying there's a huge, huge space here, because we're seeing a lot of emerging risks. So number one, you find international organizations are investing in Kenya and the rest of Africa. So you find them developing projects, mashinani, developing energy projects, and you see how huge those projects are. You find almost like, I think, $5 trillion being invested in Africa in energy. And you know what they need? They need financial risk managers and they need financial analysts. So that's a really big space where actuaries can play in. And most people are not taking it seriously. But just go and read about development finance. There are a number of masters where you can choose to specialize in development finance and be able to get better jobs. Now, lastly, entrepreneurship. Of course, actuarial gives you all the skills you need to actually be able to run your own business. From my experience, I think when you work in a company, the actuaries at the heart are in the middle. So you tend to see the 360 view of a business and be able to know where the problem is even before you start analyzing. And that's what everyone calls actuarial judgment. And that's a very important skill you have. So what I want you to take out is that actuarial science doesn't mean, when you do actuarial science, it doesn't mean that you have to work in a specific place. It's a skill you get. And this skill can be applied in various areas in the market. So from governments to international governments to banks, insurance companies. Don't limit yourself to just visiting an insurance company when you finish school. Now, just to go specifically into insurance companies, what do actuaries do in an insurance company? So the first thing that we do is we do the product pricing. That is determining how much the policyholder should pay and whether it is enough. That is the right price. And I'm saying the right price because the price needs to be both very enough to be able to cater for the company's expenses and everything and claims. At the same time, needs to be affordable for the client we're trying to sell it to. And Livingston can say we fought a number of times because of that. Reserving. So actuarial reserving is technically what you do. You make sure and you use your probabilities and your data to analyze and assess how much you should be able to set aside to be able to cater for claims at the end of the year. Product development, which is my fun part because you get to work with marketers, is you conceptualize the product from the beginning. You go out, you talk to clients, you research on it, you come back, you design it, you do a prototype, you go back, you test with the clients. This is, personally, I feel like it's the best part of actuarial in an insurance company because you get to be more artsy, you're very creative. What you making sure that the product is ready to be sold in the market and you get to try things. And lastly, data analysis, data analytics, which Karine will talk more about, which is making sense of the data that we collect to be able to advise the business, to be able to advise the board. Now, lastly, my presentation was very short. How do you position yourself when you live here? So the first thing is do market research. Go out. I've mentioned specific places where you need to consider. That is the management consultancies, insurance companies, banks, investment banks, development finance, and entrepreneurship. Go and do your market research. Also do your think within, meditate or something. Just identify what you're really passionate about. What kind of, is it, do you like selling? Do you like doing analysis? Do you like solving problems? Do you like doing data analysis in terms of using computer programs as R or Python? Identify those things. Just think around and identify that. Once you do that, the next step, which is very important, is register yourself with a professional body. Please, like, either go to CPA, go to I4A, or go to, I don't know which one, data analysis professional body. Put yourself somewhere because that's a very important place to be. In the financial profession, people don't really care about your degrees, by the way. It's all about which professional body are you associated with. If I am a CFA, my board knows that if I'm a CFA, then I will not screw up. If I am a fellow of the Institute of Actuaries, I am governed myself by a board of ethics from those specific professional bodies. So no one really cares about you having done your degree where here. No, it's all about what professional body are you associated with. Finally, mentorship. Look for someone in the industry or even someone older than you who will be able to guide you and help you learn from their mistakes. Many people in actuarial have their stories, how they started, where they are now. You find someone started as an actuary, are ending up being somewhere in medicine, which is strange, but also you get to learn how they ended up there. So mentorship is very important. Approach the mentor, ask them, oh, can you guide me? Talk to them frequently. Ask if they're having any issues, talk to them, not personal, of course, but professional related. And learn from the person's experience. In case of any, for instance, job opportunities that come, also consult them because there's some job opportunities which could come and end up, can be a roadblock for you. So if you get a job in a specific place where you won't be able to have any career growth, it's important to know that. Don't be just quick to rush for any opportunity that comes as well. Now, the other one is upskill. You have to be very willing to learn. As much as you've done your actuarial here, you will have so much knowledge, but you'll go out and you realize you don't know jack. So you'll end up having to consult with people, learn more. You have to go back to school and train. So you have to question yourself, can you be able to build models right now? If not, you need to do that. Can you be able to price a product? Are you able to perform financial investigation when you're calling yourself an actuarial student? The other question is, do you have a master's degree? Do you have a professional paper? Always be willing to learn and train yourself all through your journey, because that will never end. And finally, network. Like, always, like, see the opportunity when you in such a forum. Now that you've launched this club, it's very important that you talk to people. One of the mistakes I made when I was in campus is I never used to attend these things. And I think I stayed a long time without getting a job, while most of my peers got jobs. So you need to have people know you. When you go to a forum and someone asks, oh, do you know Liza? They need to at least have heard your name somewhere. Oh, yeah, I met her in this place in Muranga, and she gave this presentation, she did this. Another thing about networking is it's a symbiotic relationship. Remember that you need to feed the other person something else. So either, as you said, working for free, yes. Sometimes I advocate for it, sometimes I don't. But yeah, you need to have that capability of, let me work for a fee. Even being able to help your dean with data analysis, as he spoke about, it's very important. It's a symbiotic relationship with networking. Otherwise, someone will not see the value of you if you just keep on bureaucratic on their body. So you need to be very symbiotic. Yeah, and then willingness to learn, and hopefully you'll have a successful actuarial career. Yeah, thank you.